Welcome back, dear viewers, to the Musings of Maverick channel, where we continue our watch of Vinland Saga with episode 23. The penultimate episode, right? We had a very nice one last episode. I really enjoyed it. We got to see Askeladd's backstory, and really, I'm just so in love with his character, right? But with that being said, we still got the main plot to go, and well, I've been saying this for so many episodes now, but Swain Forkspear is about to die at any second now, right? As per history. Now, I'm still really curious whether he's going to die naturally, or our friends here are going to do something to, I guess, help accelerate that process, right? And so I'm still really curious as to what's actually going to happen here and how he is going to meet his demise. And then, once that happens, Canute will be next in line, and then we're probably going to end this season. Right. And of course, there's this entire thing with Thorfinn as well. I do hope that he has maybe learned a little bit in regards to, after listening to Askeladd's story, and maybe rethink his life's decision a little bit, right? He's definitely stubborn, but he's not stupid, right? Hopefully. Anyways, let's get into the episode right now and see what's up. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And I skipped the opening as per usual. Huh. The council. This calculation. Huh. So this is, as per what we know from the dialogue, where supposedly Swain Forkspear is going to reward Canute in some sort of way, but also remove him from the center of power, right? Which is the capital and the, I guess, yeah, badly beaten up, both physically and mentally. I did read your guys' comment that, last episode where Askeladd was provoking Thorfinn at the very end there, that actually didn't happen in the manga. So, and here we see the effects of Askeladd's little plan. They're picking their sides as well. Right, like how can a warrior of Askeladd's caliber not have been heard before? If there's anything that I'm kind of in disbelief, but I've talked about that at length already. Everybody is like all serious and stuff. Torkal's like, screw it. There's booze and food. Huh, who was that woman? Oh yeah, speaking of which, his mother and sister, were they captured or something? It's getting delirious now. With one hand. Well, at least she's safer in there, I guess. Look at that smile. Gonna whisper anything? Okay. Give him Marcia. That isn't actually too bad. Ah. Huh. Yeah, that's not bad. Well, I guess we can say that two can play the game. Oh. Okay. Don't get too full of yourself, Askeladd.
孫くじ引いてもらうぜ。この喧嘩を仕切るのは俺だ。駒も揃ってる。俺ならやれる。しかしだ諸君。
Here he comes.
この地には未だ王に対する恐れを知らぬ無礼な者どもがおる。そのことも話しておかねばならぬ。世は奴らに心中を進める指示を
his
かかわらず連中は二度にわたって跳ねつけおった。
those in Wales, right?
そこに真理を脅かす目が育っておるなら、まず全力をもって摘み取らねばならぬ。ウェールズ。
Yep.
かの地の者どもに真の王者の力がどれほどであるかを知らしめるのだ。来たる春より進撃する。心得よ諸君。
So, what to do? Of course, without knowing anything. Oh, I would say it's probably. Yeah. As I was saying, in Ashlett's relation, like, without knowing anything about the future one, I guess what he could be thinking right now is two things. One, he's got to get rid of the king. Two, maybe he can allow Canute to take on the role of subduing them, right? And then work out some kind of deal there. Wait, he's got him in a situation, in a place where Thorfinn can't run. So he's forced to listen now. Is he gonna tell him about his family? This animation is seriously nice to watch. Damn. They got his weakness. Yeah, you're not that important, Askeladd. Alright, start thinking. Either assassinate him or, you know, lead the charge. I thought Thorfinn finally cracked a bit. Vinland. That's probably true. Will it reach Thorfinn?
ヴィンランドならきっと。
Hey, it looks like Ericsson's words.
ウェールズっていやさ、お前俺に追われてあそこに逃げ込んだじゃんよ。
Okay, hold that thought.
あれは一体どういうからくりだったんだ。なんでウェールズ人たちがデンジンのお前に味方したんだ。
Mm.
おふくろの墓がある。あの地は俺の故郷。
Wait. You're saying this out loud to...
土地は貧しくとも民は誇り高い。おふくろの愛した国だ。そうか。そいつはまあなんだな、お気の毒様だな。
What?
この話は誰にも言うんじゃねえぞ。わかってるよ。
Okay, I guess, the other dude.
クヌート殿下の重視
Ragnar's brother.
アシェラッド殿、
He's gone.
御前に進まれよ。たく。
Somehow... There's a trap here, isn't it?
俺ってやつはどうしてこう土壇場のツキがないのかね。
Dang it! I wanted to see what he was gonna say. And it's doubly important for me because, well, I'll get to that after this. Damn it! See you guys in a second. Well, I guess Askeladd just never learns. He shouldn't gloat before all the chickens are hatched, before everything settles down, the dust settles down, and everything is in place, right? Although his, his monologue at the very end there was kind of intriguing as well, saying that luck is always eluding him at the very last moment, at the very crucial moment. I wonder if that also has anything to do with him not actually accomplishing anything big in the past before, right? Like I've talked at length how I feel a person with this caliber of talent and skill, both in the head and as well as his prowess on the battlefield, it's really hard for me to believe that he's never been noticed before by others, right? However, if he does have this case of bad luck, I guess you could say, then, well, I guess sucks to be him, right? But anyways, with that aside, I am kind of wondering what the king is wanting to do with him at the very end there. So obviously, this is a sort of rewarding ceremony as well, right? To reward those who have had who have accomplished stuff, who have had their accomplishments on the battlefield, or helping Swain to conquer England, right? So the logical thing would be to reward him. Now, however, I keep thinking that there's got to be like a twist to this, right? So my best guess right now is that actually King Swain is going to try and promote him to be one of, not just to be a vassal of Canute, but to be a vassal directly underneath Swain, right? So equal in a sort of sense. I mean, obviously not equal because the prince is still a prince, but I mean, so instead of being like a subordinate to Canute, instead promoting him and making him into a full-fledged, for instance, royalty or whatnot, right? So in terms of in terms of the other people, right? In terms of the other vassals and whatnot, because Askeladd is relatively unknown, right? No, most people probably don't know his importance to Canute and how he's really pulling the strings behind all this. So from their point of view, King Sweyn would look like a generous king, right? Recognizing talent and actually, Askeladd being a even his name isn't really, he doesn't have a family name, if you will. So promoting him into the ranks of nobility or whatnot, that would be like a huge honor, right? However, what it will do also is it would weaken his influence. He's not going to be able to help Canute as much because then he has his own responsibilities as well, whereas Canute has his own, right? So, if the king was really trying to play this sort of political intrigue game, that would be my best guess as to what would happen. And yeah, it would also be very hard to counter that, right? Because by all means, it looks like a promotion. It looks like the king is being very generous. So that's how I feel things are going to go down in that regard. As for the attack on Wales, trying to conquer Wales and whatnot, I mean, I don't know if there's any historical context for it, but at the same time, if what Sweyn is saying is true, then I'm entirely not surprised by his decision there, right? Wales is connected to England by land. I mean, sure, there's a river and all, but still, it's very close. And it would only make sense to subdue them right after Ireland, right? If you literally have some enemies, I mean, they're definitely not friends, right? They're refusing to become vassals. So why not just wipe them out and control the entirety of England and make sure that, nothing funny happens whilst you're away doing some other conquering or away in Denmark or whatnot, right? So that's entirely logical. And so what exactly are the counters here, right? I mentioned that there's two things that Askeladd can think of and try to carry out. Now, mind you, this is assuming that we don't know the future, right? We don't know history, and we don't know that Sweyn is about to die here. So I would say that there's two routes, right? One would be to go assassinate the king. That would obviously be very hard. The king is well protected and whatnot, but it's also the most foolproof method, right? We literally see the king and Canute trying to reconcile. The king has rewarded Canute generously. It would be less suspicious on Canute's side if the king were suddenly to be assassinated or die right now. They wouldn't bear the full brunt of the blame, right? Of course, some people might still be suspicious and whatnot, but it wouldn't be entirely obvious, right? So that is one option, and obviously once the king is dead and a new either Harold or Canute take his place, they can think of things there, right? And that would at least buy a lot more time as well. The second method would be to ask to spearhead the effort to subdue Wales, right? Like, for instance, say that, hey, this is a perfect chance for Canute to prove his worthiness on the battlefield once again, since he didn't get to do much during the conquest of England. Allow him the honor of taking care of Wales. And then once he gets this sort of position to lead the expedition against Wales, maybe go there, put on a show or something, or at least try to keep the losses on both sides to a minimum, and then work out something under the table, right? Courtesy of Askeladd and his connection with Wales, and maybe at least swear fealty to the king, right? So it's not entirely ideal. The people of Wales probably don't want to swear fealty to King Sweyn Forkbeard, but I mean, ultimately, Askeladd's plan is to make Canute become the next king. So if they're already willing to sort of be friends with Canute, then it's just how should I say this? It's just putting on an act, right? So that's also another method out of this. Now, with that being said, however, I feel like the most probable outcome of this is that he doesn't have to do anything. Askeladd doesn't have to do anything, because I'm like 99% sure that Sweyn Forkbeard is going to bite the dust next episode, right? Again, going by history, this is about the time when Sweyn Forkbeard dies. Historically, of natural causes. Here again, it might be poison or whatnot, or maybe through some kind of matter he does die as well, right? I'm fairly certain that they're going to end this here. It would be very strange for me if they concluded this season with Sweyn Forkbeard still alive and well. I think much more I'm fairly certain that what's going to happen is that Swingforks is going to die next episode, and then due to them already being gathered here at this council, they are going to promptly elect Canute to be the next king of England, when his brother Harold would be the king of Denmark, and that would put it up in line with how historically this event happened, right? So yeah, look, again, might be kind of spoilers, but like I said before, history is history. You can't really count history as spoiling things. So yeah, and that is the entire situation in regards to Askeladd and Canute and the political intrigue part. And of course, within this episode, we also have Thorfinn's side as well, right? He's definitely received a very big mental shock, if you will. With that being said, however, even with Eriksson being here and saying all that, and even in the end, we see sort of Thorfinn getting up and going into the light, metaphorically. With that being said, I don't feel that Thorfinn can be that easily convinced, right? I somehow feel like that's not going to be true, and he's still going to reject Eriksson's offer at the very end there. I mean, he's been doing this for 11 years, right? He's been trying to kill Askeladd for 11 years. I don't think that, even though he's currently in a very vulnerable state, I still don't think that he can make a 180 on just a whim, and just by some words of Eriksson, who he hasn't seen for 11 years as well, right? So even though it seemed in this episode that that's going to be his new goal, and he's going to go back and then find his family, and then they're all going to move to Vinland, somehow I don't think things are going to be that straightforward. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Now, as I was mentioning, I was really hoping that we could see a little bit more development in this episode, because unfortunately I will not be able to record the next episode's video on time. And in fact, it's going to be delayed by at least 1 week after that, actually. So this is nearing the end of this year, and I am actually going to be on vacation starting from next weekend. Annually, every year I go to Japan on vacation. I like to snowboard, and I like to go to Japan, right? I like Japanese culture, I like Japanese stuff. However, unfortunately, in this year, I happened to schedule it a little bit early, and also Vinland Saga had some delay issues as well, right? So it seems I'm not going to be able to finish this on time. So I will be back in the first week of January next year. However, that's going to be like, the next episode is supposed to be on the 29th or something, and I'm going to be back on the 7th or something like that. So 2 weeks time. So yeah, it kind of sucks, and I really don't have any method of recording while I'm in Japan. I mean, I'm on a snowboarding trip. My hardware isn't that good anyways, in terms of my laptop, but still. So yeah, really sucks. I mean, the finale is one of the most important things of the series, along with the opening, but still, such is life, right? C'est la vie. And so I will still be recording this, of course, although it will be delayed. I'm looking to maybe get it out on the 7th or 8th or sometime during then. And if you guys have enjoyed my videos so far, I do hope that you guys will still come back and watch it once I do record it. But if not, I can totally understand if you're already done with your Vinland Saga fix. But, well, yeah, I'm not gonna force you to do anything, right? You do you, right? So that's that unfortunate series of events, but well, I hope I will see you guys next time. And if not, well, best of luck to you guys. So there we go. This is Maverick signing off. See you again in 2 weeks, hopefully. Bye bye.